Hello, everyone. Hello, Unlocked community. Welcome to our Tuesday live stream. You guys see Pickles back here. I will be the first to tell you that he's officially getting adopted. So we have been fostering him for a few months and he's getting adopted, and guess who's keeping him? It's me. It's me. It's me. I'm so excited we get to keep Pickles. So that's my big win. But that is not why we're here today. We are here today to talk about a real life case study of a deal that we purchased, renovated, rented out, refinanced. We just finished the refi earlier this month, and I am going to break it all down for you, break all the numbers down. So one of the most common things we hear is that there are no deals in today's market. The BRRRR method is dead. Jessie, Columbus, Ohio, there's no way you could ever make a deal work. And I am here to show you that that is not the case. And this is a deal that really has been January of this year through today. So very recent timeline. It was about a 5-month turn. We'll look at all of it. But as you know, this is super, super interactive. If you are watching on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you are coming in from, I absolutely want to hear from you. So let me know in the comments, Jessie, hey, I own some rentals, or I'm looking to get into real estate. I am in this market. I always want to know who my audience is. So let me know where you're calling in from or watching from. If you're watching the replay, same thing. Love to hear from you. So let's hop into it. The way that this is going to work is we have a custom BRRRR calculator. This is something that I have built over, gosh, at this point, probably the last 3 years. It started with just something that, I developed myself, and now we actually have a developer who works on it for us. And so we are launching the 4th version, meaning every version is new and improved. It has some new features. We're in the middle of launching our 4th version right now to our students, and that is what you are going to get a sneak preview of today. So the main thing that we're going to be looking at is the BRRRR calculator. Now, if there's no way I can explain every single detail in this 30-minute case study, but Lizzie she's here in the background, and she is going to be posting some different resources that we have. So, when we're looking at appraisals, we did how to look at an appraisal. When we're looking at a HUD statement, we have an entire training on how to read a HUD statement. So although you're going to look at the high level here, if you want any more details about anything that we are learning today, we have resources for it. Okay. So just let us know in the comments what resources you're looking for, and we'll get them over. So let's go ahead and start. This deal is in Columbus, Ohio. It is in the Hilltop. It is in kind of North Hilltop. I actually did a live walkthrough in this community of the property. So if you guys want to know what it looked like when I was walking through it, it was mid-project. Let us know in the comments walkthrough, and we'll get you that resource. Let me share my screen. How's this? Cool. So this is the property when we purchased it. It's 141 Eldon. There's no secrets. No way I could possibly hide this. So 141 Eldon, North Hilltop. It's on a really, really cute cobblestone road. If you want to look at the street view, the neighborhood is super congruent. It's this house right here. The neighborhood is really congruent. Like, you can see all the houses look the same. They're the same spacing apart. It's well cared for. So yes, some people, if you're familiar with Columbus, are scared of the Hilltop, and I tell you that there's no reason you need to be. There's fantastic deals here, and really cute little neighborhoods, cute little pockets. So this is what we're looking at. This is the condition. I can't go through every single one, but I'll pull out some of the big ones. So this is the condition of the property when we bought it. It needs some work. This is exactly what we are looking for. We are looking for properties that need cosmetic and mechanical repairs. So right on par. It has 3 bedrooms upstairs, and the bathrooms upstairs, and downstairs there's a dining room, a living room, and the kitchen. There is a full basement. It is unfinished, and there was a garage, but it was in really bad shape, and we actually had to tear it down. So a lot of the mechanicals were actually quite good, so we didn't have to do everything. Just giving you a quick idea of what it looked like. Here's the kitchen. Does anyone out there, do y'all buy properties that look like this? Lizzie, last time somehow people weren't able to comment, remember? I don't know if that's happening again. Y'all let us know in the comments if you can hear me, because I see people on, but I don't see any comments. So I don't want to make sure the software is working. So let us know if you buy properties like this. Full cosmetic, full mechanical, okay? So let me show you. Oh, here's the exterior. It needs some love. Has AC, love AC. That's the garage we had to tear down. So this is the exact type of property that I buy. Let me show you what it looks like once we got it finished. So same property, cleaned up. You're going to notice, Jessie, that I did not do a full flip by any means. Like, I mean, it looks nice, but this is not, if I was flipping it for resale, there's some additional things I probably would have done. But as far as a rental goes, we got it nice, clean, safe, and functional. Tore that garage down. It was not in good condition. Some new glass block windows. Painted. Okay, look at this. So we did LVT throughout. Always do. All new paint. Got to keep the front door, which is amazing. We close off the fireplace. That's something that we're always doing. And so I just want to give you a good idea of the type of project that you're looking at as we start going through the numbers. We use the same paint everywhere. You know, if this was a flip, I may have redone the walls with drywall. And I don't know if you can see here, but the walls are still textured. No problem at all for a rental. We kept the doors, just got them painted, new hardware. Did a backsplash in the kitchen. It's so small that it was not a huge additional cost for a little, you know, extra emphasis there. Dining room looks night and day different. Ooh, it's night and day different from the dining room. I mean, it's totally different. So you get the point. So let's look at the numbers. Okay, awesome. People can hear us. Let's look at the numbers. So the date of this analysis is today. This is our custom calculator. Eldon Avenue, it's a 3-1. Like I said, full basement, unfinished. Square footage was 1,214 square feet. This was asking price was $105,000. $105K. Not what we paid, I'll tell you. So even with what we paid, we ended up paying this wholesaler $30,000. Does that sound crazy that I paid someone $30,000 for a deal? When I was first starting, I would say, yeah, that's crazy, Jessie. I couldn't imagine paying someone $30K. If it's a win-win, then I do not care how much the wholesaler makes if I'm buying a good deal for me. So the way that this works is we kind of have a quick analysis section. So if you're familiar with MAO, maximum allowable offer, that is what is built in here. So our really high level analysis that we look at when we are underwriting a deal is ARV, after repair value, times 0.75. And that's because that's how much the lender will give us on the refinance, minus renovation cost, equals the maximum allowable offer, the most I can pay. So in this scenario, the most I could pay was $113,000 with a $215K ARV. When I underwrote this, I actually underwrote it at $200,000, so I was more conservative. But when the appraisal came back, it came back at $215,000. So let's keep going. We are right there at the 1% rule. And what the 1% rule says that my all-in cost between purchase and rehab, rent should be about 1%, around 1% of that all-in every single month in order to meet the 1% rule. So I hear from people all the time that it doesn't exist, and we're right there. So it definitely does. Now, this deal summary, we'll come back, but I want to show it to you the long way, and then we'll come back and look at the highlighted section. So we have some critical dates here. I bought this property on February 5th of this year. It was fully renovated and occupied within 2.5 months. So it was finished in, I'd say, 60 days. It took us another couple of weeks to get it rented out. So it was occupied and the lease started and someone started paying on April 24th. We refinanced it through the process, appraisals, everything done, signed on the dotted line on July 2nd of this month. July 2nd. And so here, once you have these dates in, that helps the calculator really figure out exactly what happened in the deal. And so I told you they were asking 105. We got this for $92,000. And that was still with a $30K wholesale fee. Now, how did I get that much of a discount? Is I have a really good relationship with this wholesaler and we buy a good amount of real estate from them. So they know I perform. They know that I'm going to close. I'm not going to disappear at the closing table or anything like that. So we got it for 92. I used hard money to pay for this. Our hard money covered 90% of the purchase price and 100% of the renovation cost. Now, when I went through and did our scope, our estimate for the scope of work, and you saw the before and after pictures, we estimated that we would need $48,900 for the renovation. And that is how much I asked my hard money lender to borrow. So from them, I borrowed, this is 90% of the purchase, and I borrowed 100% of the rehab. Now, if you look over here, our actual rehab came in $1,000 less, which is fantastic. Don't count on that happening that much. But when I did my scope, I was very conservative and overestimated quite a few things. So we actually, my lender gave me, the $48,900 and we only spent $47,900. So that is a bonus. We have some questions coming in. How do I come to a comfortable place taking hard money without fear of defaulting? Yes. So great question. We're going to get into it and I'm going to show you exactly how much equity I created in this property. And that equity is kind of my cushion. It's the reason that I can sleep well at night is because of the BRRRR method. So I bought it with hard money. We paid 12% to my lender, pretty standard across the board. That is exactly what you're going to see. If you're a new borrower, it could be 13, could be 14. We paid monthly interest payments. Sorry, title was $1,500. Title closing costs. I paid my lender $9.99. It's a standard fee. Most hard money lenders are going to have it. And then I also paid 1.71 points. 1 point equals 1% of the loan. And the reason it's this random number is because they have a minimum. It's either 1% of the loan amount or $2,250. So because this is, relative to the whole US, this is like pretty small scale project. And so because of that, I hit the minimum. And so I had to actually pay more than 1 point. So that's kind of why it's a random number, but this came to $2,250. This fund the gap, we call fund the gap, is like your down payment. How are you going to pay your down payment? So you can raise it through private money, or you can pay it yourself. Those are the most common ones. A lot of people pay their down payment through a HELOC that they have in their personal home. We just pay cash. So I have NA here. And then this whole top section is all the inputs. So I'm going to go through the inputs and then I'm going to go down to the bottom and we're going to look at the analysis of everything. So let's look at the refi. I got it. I bought it with hard money, but now we need to renovate it. Okay. I did that. It was $48,900. So we'll say $49K. Let me confirm that. Oh, sorry. $48K. $48K. And then I had to go take this nice new package and go get it refinanced. It appraised for $215,000. This is our actual appraisal. If you do not know how to read an appraisal, I highly recommend you watch last week's training with Trevor. If you guys want to see how to read an appraisal report, comment appraisal and Lizzie will get that over to you. But as you can see, this is the house, right? That's it. appraised value, opinion of value, $215,000 right there. So came back at 215. Our lender is going to give us 75% of the new value. That is very, very standard. It's a 30-year note. Interest rate, this is our exact interest, is 7.625. Sounds high. It is compared to what it was, but it's not high compared to a lot of the national averages over the last couple decades. So to me, I've been in real estate really since the 2013. So I've seen lower rates overall. To me, this felt, it feels high, but I'm telling you that the deals still work and relative, it's still working. Rain's asking, when we apply for the appraisal, what's the seasoning? So this lender in particular, that's a great question. This lender in particular is 3 months. And as you can see from the time that we bought it, got it renovated, we were well over 3 months. So seasoning on this one was not an issue. If you are doing a project that is literally carpet and paint, maybe some deferred maintenance, and you can get in and out in a week or two, then you get it rented pretty quickly. In that scenario, you could be running up against the seasoning period requirements. But if you are doing these kind of, mid-sized projects, then 3 months is really pretty safe, and it's not going to cause you issues for that 3-month seasoning. So 7.625. This is our title cost, our loan closing cost on the refi. I paid 2 different closing costs. Oh, celebrate. I paid 2 different closing costs. We paid closing costs to buy it, and I paid closing costs to refi it, and the deal still works. I have our seasoning here actually. So let me show you this is our HUD statement from the refi. If you guys don't know how to read a HUD statement, I highly recommend that you watch the training we had with Empower Title with Mildred. It was fantastic. She went line by line on exactly how to read this. But where these numbers came from is I basically just added up. Here's my title charges. Here is my lender charges. Added them up and put them right here into the calculator. Harris, who do we use for our lender? This is a resource that we reserve for our Rentals Made Easy members, which you are a member of. So Lizzie will get that information over to you. But we do have a lender that we recommend to all of our mastermind students, and Lizzie will get that over. All right. So I just went through and added these up between the title costs and the closing costs. I paid 1 point, 3-month seasoning, and DSCR limitation. So this is a DSCR loan. It stands for debt service. Did I do that? Sorry. It stands for debt service coverage ratio. And it's a loan type for investment properties. And the amount that the property is rented for is critical to underwrite for the lender. And so they're saying the 1.1 is saying that you can't be 110% more, like your rent needs to be 1.1% higher. Say your rent's $1,000 and your DSCR is 1.1. Say your mortgage is $1,000, and that means you need to be bringing in $1,100 every month in rent in order to hit the 1.1. So if the mortgage is $1,000, your rent has to be $1,100, right? If this was a 1.2 requirement, if the mortgage is $1,000, your rent has to be $1,200. You see the math there? Sorry, I had to get my numbers right, but that is what the DSCR limitation is saying. So if your rent's not high enough, you may not be able to borrow as much as you think you are. So that's why this is built into this calculator. We also have the option for a second loan amount on your long-term money if you so need it, if you borrowed from a HELOC, etc. So in this scenario, we didn't need it. So I have this blank. And then we get to our rent section. So remember, it's buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat. So we get it rented. We're getting it rented for $1,600. This is our actual monthly insurance. This is our actual taxes. It's not in an HOA. Any questions so far about any of the input section before we kind of get down into the analysis? Let me look at the questions. So this is, if you've been told by national lenders that you need to hold the mortgage for a year, it's because you are using the wrong loan types. There are loan types that are specific to real estate investors and they're for investment properties. This is likely a conventional or a commercial loan or something like that. So it's pretty common to see 0 up to 6 month seasoning for investor type products. All right, cool. So let's get into the analysis. So let's look at the buy side. My total loan closing costs between, purchase and between title and my loan costs were $4,700. That's how much it cost me to close it. I had to bring about $14,000 to the closing table. That was our own cash. I did not fund the gap. If you had a financial partner and you wanted to raise the money, you could raise $14,000 in order to, make the purchase. All-in cost, or I'm sorry, my percent of the all-in cost, we're 10% down. When I was starting my first couple years, I was buying with 20% down because I didn't know the BRRRR method and I didn't know better. And so I was having to come up with a whole lot more money. 10% down in the scheme of buying real estate really is nothing. And I'm going to show you how you're going to get that money back actually. So my loan expense every month was $1,300. My total cost to borrow funds is $6,400. So I had this money for 5 months. I borrowed like $132,000 between the 90% of the purchase, 100% of the rehab. And to borrow $32K for 5 months, it cost me $6,500. That's a deal for me because I didn't have to come up with that money. I would happily pay someone $6,500 to get 90% of my project funded. So that's my total cost to borrow. I went to go pay this off. I owe $138. I didn't have a second loan. So if you did have that filled in, this would be here. And then we get to the renovate section. So during the renovations, I'm going to have more costs. Here's my money costs we saw above, but I'm also going to have some principal, interest, taxes, insurance, utilities. I'm going to have other costs associated with holding the property. So all in, I was at about $1,850 per month holding it during the time that it was unoccupied. That's why we have our occupancy dates separated out here, because think about it. As soon as the property becomes occupied, who's paying the holding cost? It's not me. It's no longer me. They're not my holding costs anymore. It's now our resident. So that's why we look at that occupancy date. So if we go back, it was about $1,800 a month to hold it. Total repairs and some additional holding costs of $49,000 that we put into the property. This was the cash out of pocket that I needed during the process. So I needed about not only my $14K down at the time of closing, I also needed another, say, $7,000 out of pocket in order to pay my monthly hard money interest expense, pay my taxes, pay my insurance. Like those are all still due. So all said and done, I needed about $20K out of pocket in order to do this deal. This is a really key number. So between our purchase, renovations, holding costs, everything to get the property rent ready, we're at $152,000. Okay. So I have $152,000 of my money and my lender's money into this project. We get down to the refi section. Remember, the lender is going to give me 75% of my 215 appraised value. So that comes to 161. I did not hit the DSCR limit. I was allowed to go up to 175 loan amount and still be within my 1.1% DSCR limitation. So no issue there. I borrowed 161. The principal and interest alone comes to $1,141. With my taxes and insurance, my total PITI mortgage is $1,374. Okay. This is a really great, this is a great section because I have, 20K of my own, a little less, 20K of my own money in this project. So at the time of refi, I am actually going to get back in my pocket $24,000, but some of that is just to pay myself back, right? So I'm going to pull out my little calculator. Let's do this high level. So if we are at 215 times 0.75, okay, 161, 250 is my loan amount. And then I put 47 into it, or we'll say 48. Oh gosh. So it's the 113, 250. But then I had costs along the way. I had, 2 sets of closing costs, 2 sets of financing costs. I had other costs. But when all of that is said and done, I pulled $7,000 out of this property. And it's because what I have into it, here, look, here's a really good example. I have 152 into it, but the bank will give me 161. Now I had to pay to close the second loan, so that's why it's not, a full 10K. So I pulled out $7,000 at the time of refi. Let me know. I know this is, this is a lot of information. There is no secret that the BRRRR method has a lot of moving parts that you need to get right. You have to understand how to run comps and understand how to do, run repair costs, and you have to have good teams and people and systems, and you have to understand a lot here. And so let me know in the comments what questions you have. Let me know if you're just like, Jessie, this is super overwhelming, because I can break it down a little bit further. But the point here is that these deals still exist where you can actually pull money out of a BRRRR deal. Now, even better than that, I created $61,000 of new value in a property because I'm in it for 150, right? I'm sorry. My new loan amount is 161, so I only owe 161, but it's worth 215. So I owe 161 with none of my own money on a property worth 215. That's incredible. That right here is the power of this method. Yeah, Lizzie, it is insane. She's right. So let me get down to the rent section. This is where you guys are probably going to be a lot less excited, and I'll admit I'm less excited myself. So monthly rent, we get $1,600. We saw above that my mortgage PITI is $1,347. We pull out 5% repairs, 5% vacancies. We don't pull out for CapEx because you just saw I did the CapEx. So I'm really should be good for 10. We aim for 10 years of little to no maintenance, or, major repairs, capital expenditures, furnace, windows, roof, HVAC, like we take care of all that. So cash flow, $66 a month. Okay. Let's get real. Is this going to change your life? No, absolutely not. I'm going to maybe take my wife and I to dinner once on our cash flow. I'm going to pay my team to help me manage these properties. Okay. The cash flow is the icing on the cake. It is not the reason that we are buying real estate in Columbus, Ohio. Let me show you the reason that we're buying real estate in Columbus, Ohio. This just calculates your payback period. If you have money left in the deal, it basically calculates how many months does it take you to get that money back. But we don't have any money in the deal, which is why it's NA. But let me show you really the cool reason of why we buy real estate. So day one, $66 a month. Woohoo! Yeah. I'm going to go enjoy my dinner. 61K in equity. Now, at the end of year one, if I can raise my rent by 3%, if property values increase by 3%, which is insanely conservative, you know what? I'm going to bump this up. Now, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it to illustrate the point. But if you bump this to 5%, which is happening in our market, Look at, okay, we'll keep it at 3, but that's pretty low. At the end of year 1, I raise my rents. I have some more equity because values have gone up and my principal has gone down. At the end of year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have $100K in equity in just 5 years. 5 years is a blink of an eye. Now we're making $232 a month. Okay. Still not super sexy, but we're getting better. Rent keeps going up after 10 years. We're making $400 for a month plus $150K in equity. Now, keep in mind, this is assuming nothing changes. What if rates go down in 3 years from now? I have $85K in equity. Who says I can't take this asset and go refinance again and pull out this $85K and lower my interest payment? Who says I couldn't do that? So this is the power of real estate, and this is the power of the calculator and really understanding exactly what numbers go where, how they all work with each other, and then understanding the value over time. Because so many people would see this deal on day 1 and they would walk away. They would walk away from, hold this for 20 years. You have $300K in equity. And you would walk away from that. It's 3 times what you paid for this property. And you would walk away. So I know it's a lot. Let me know in the comments, y'all, if you want the download of this exact calculator and you want to go back and watch this video again. Let us know in the comments. We'll give you this as a PDF and you can follow along. So just let me know, calculator template, calculator something. And then I'm going to answer some questions in the comments. Then I'm going to let y'all get about your day. So James asks, when pulling cash out of, in this case, what am I doing with it? Putting it right back into real estate. Not all of our deals have cash out. It's 50-50. We're leaving a little more money in deals. The more competition we're seeing in Columbus, Ohio. That's not true in every market by any means. But the point is that $7K that I pulled out of this one very well could be left in the next deal where the lender won't give me, they'll give me 75%, but I was in it for more than 75%. Maybe I was in it for 80% of the appraised value. So then I would still have 5% of my own money in when all's said and done. So y'all, if you want a copy of the calculator, let us know in the comments. We will give you this PDF. And okay, awesome. Yeah, we'll get that over to all you guys. And then if you loved this, we actually do a workshop every single Tuesday at 3:00 Eastern. So we just keep the fun rolling. It is a private workshop with just a small group. And I show you exactly how this method works and how I help people implement this in their own business. So if you want to join that, it is in about half an hour from now. So you have time for a little break, grab a snack, whatever it is. And Lizzie's going to post the link for you to join us. And she just did. She's fast. So Lizzie posted the link for you to join us. Just go ahead and get signed up. You'll get the link to the private meeting and we will see you shortly. Bye.